Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tim, and welcome to Tim Talks. The show that's only partially a show, but really is just an excuse for me to talk to some of my very talented friends. And I have another one here with me today. She's the community manager over at Rooster Teeth, the voice of Yang and RWBY, and a buttload of other credits that we'll cover through the course of this hour. Barbara Dunkelman, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing, dear?
Hello.
How you doing?
I am doing fantastic. How are you doing, Tim?
I'm hanging in there. It's been a long daggum week, but you know what? It's worth it in the end. I get to sit here at the end of it and have a nice, delightful chat with you, kind of unwind for a little bit, and you've been stressed out yourself.
Yeah, just a little bit.
It's, so for those, just real quick, who are unfamiliar with who you are, what you do, give us a brief little Reader's Digest version of your job.
So I'm the community manager at Rooster Teeth, but I also do a number of other things. I'm the co-director of RTX, which is our annual gaming convention that Rooster Teeth hosts. I do all of our marketing promotions at Rooster Teeth. I also do a number of voices for shows such as Yang and RWBY, Jensen and RWBY, and then some other things here and there that I can't yet talk about.
Of course, and not to mention one of the scientists on Immersion who are always torturing Michael and Gavin, and oh god, oh, those are always so much fun.
Yeah, that's like one of the parts of my job where when I'm doing it, I'm like, I'm getting paid to do this.
I'm getting paid to hurl fruit at two of my better friends in the world. Right? I love that time we tried to use the slingshot, and then it just penetrated not only the backing board that we had, but the reinforcement that we had behind it.
Yeah, so at that immersion shoot for Fruit Ninja, we actually had, you were saying slingshots, we had the little ones that we used, but also this like giant one that I don't think is supposed to be used on a human.
No, because it goes for like 200 yards. It was a giant black rubber band thing that looked like it should be used for working out instead of what we were going to use it for, which is torture.
Close enough. I mean, they're very related.
Fair. No, excellent point. Excellent point. So, as you said, you are a voice talent over there. You do the voice of Yang for RWBY, which was a show that premiered last year at RTX. And I believe the season 2 is premiering this year?
Yes, volume 2 of RWBY is premiering at
RTX. Yeah, volume 2. Excellent.
Volume season, you know.
No, I mean, nomenclature is an excellent thing to be careful of, because sometimes that can actually make a difference. Whether you call it a season or a volume, intonates a certain style, you know?
Yeah, I think there's something like 2 volumes per season or 3 volumes per season. I don't know really how they're
nice. Okay, yeah. So exactly, that makes a whole lot of sense to actually differentiate between the two.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about voice acting. You go inside of the big sound booth, which is a very closed-off space, and it's just you in there.
Yeah. Voice acting is something that, growing up, I always thought it would be really cool to do because I always used to make funny voices and sound effects with my brothers and, you know, be stupid like that. And I grew up watching a lot of animated cartoons as well. A lot of The Simpsons, Family Guy, all that stuff.
And stuff that actually made it over to Canada.
Exactly. Yeah. There's very few shows that we actually got over there. And it's always been something that I never thought I would get the chance to do because it's like, well, you know, I don't know if I have the skills or like the talents to do voice acting.
Right.
So when this new show RWBY was premiering and they needed voices for the characters, Monty actually told me that he thought of me first to voice his character, who he wanted to base off Goldilocks because he saw me as Goldilocks.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, and they even, like, in the trailer, in the Yang trailer, they call her Blondie. I mean, there's definitely a whole lot of on-the-nose type stuff in that. You got typecast hard, I think is what we're going for.
Yeah, there's a lot of nods to, I think, our personalities in the show that a lot of people pick up on.
Absolutely.
So I auditioned for it just to go through the actual formal process, even though they knew they wanted to cast me. And, you know, they liked what they heard. They thought it was right for the character. And then, you know, it was full speed ahead. We started recording the first couple episodes for RWBY Volume 1, and it was completely surreal. I mean, the first time I ever saw my voice coming out of an animated character was probably the weirdest thing, because it's like, that's me, but it's not me, and this person doesn't look like me.
No, not even a little bit, but they stole your voice.
Yeah.
They weren't telling you a falsity. When that camera gets on you, it steals your soul.
It does.
And so speaking of other on-camera things, you're also a frequent guest on the podcast as well. You're a very big face for the company. How did that I guess the question I'm trying to get at is, how does it feel to kind of be a representative of a company that for so long you followed just as a normal person like any of us?
I can't really express how surreal it is to be involved in so many Rooster Teeth productions because, as you said, I grew up watching them. Ever since I was 14, I watched Red vs. Blue. I knew every single quote in that show. I watched the Rooster Teeth shorts. I remember when Captain Dynamic came out, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. I love these guys. They're so funny.
Little did you know that one day you would get the opportunity to meet those guys. Right.
And sit on a couch with them, calling them ugly and whatever. But no, I mean, also I watched the Rooster Teeth podcast every single week. I looked forward to it, and now to be a main cast member of the podcast as well as many other shows, it's like I am just some kid from Canada who like was a huge fan, and now all of a sudden I'm here with these guys joking around with them, and other people now look up to me and are fans of me, and it's like, what?
How did this happen? Why does this so quickly?
It's crazy.
So getting to that, how did you get involved with Rooster Teeth?
Well, my older brother and his friends used to watch Red vs. Blue. We had like a computer room in our basement in Canada. They used to watch it every single week, and I never really paid attention because I was on my computer, listening to the Spice Girls, doing
girl power.
Yeah, doing all that stuff.
Of course.
And then one week, I decided, hey, this actually sounds like it's pretty funny. I'm going to start watching it with them. And then week after week, we would watch it, and I became a huge fan of the show. I started quoting it all the time. And then I realized that they had a community site, which was October of 2004. And I was like, I'll sign up, I like these guys. I like what they do. I want to meet other people who are into it as well. And so I signed up on the site, and I instantly just got addicted to it. I started meeting people who were very similar to me and were funny and welcoming, and so just they became some of the best friends I have to this day. And I just got really involved in the community. I went to events in Toronto where other community members would come, and the Rooster Teeth guys would come.
I was going to say RVBTO started about a year after that.
Yeah, RVBTO started, the official one started July 2005.
Yeah.
When I had just turned 16. And so that was my first time meeting anybody from the community. And I think that moment is what made me really fall in love with the Rooster Teeth community, because the second I met everybody, we had, we'd known each other for a couple months at that point because we talked online every day. But actually getting to meet these people in person, it was an instant connection.
I'll bet. I mean, the thing is, I've always had this theory that it takes only 2 points of connection to become friends with somebody. You only have to find 2 things in common. If you can do that, you can have a normal conversation with somebody, find other things, and suddenly become friends. Yeah. So if one of those things is already taken care of for you, i.e. Rooster Teeth, all you got to do is find one other thing.
Yep.
And you can do that with anybody.
And I remember, because, we were so deep inside this culture, people would make these jokes and everybody would understand what you were talking about. Like back then with the mod points that we used to have on the site.
Yeah, yeah. Plus one funny, plus one cool.
Plus one zing. And everyone, oh.
I mean, and that's one thing that's always been wonderful about Rooster Teeth is just how interconnected the community really is. And that's purely because Rooster Teeth wanted it that way. Yeah. I mean, that's specifically how they designed the website, with that in mind.
Yeah, I think making the community website is probably one of the best decisions Rooster Teeth has ever made in the last 11 years.
Especially considering recent events involving the community, where we're trying to get a movie made.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Lazer Team. So for anybody watching who doesn't know, we just launched an Indiegogo for a movie that Rooster Teeth plans to make called Lazer Team.
Link to that down below.
It's going to be a sci-fi action movie.
Oh,
sci-fi action comedy. It's going to be live action, and I know Matt and Bernie have dreamed about this for years, and with the way Rooster Teeth is going now, it's only natural that we make a movie. And
the wonderful part about it is that same community that has held you up throughout all of this was able to get $1 million in 2 days.
It's crazy. I mean, we launched it, and I remember I refreshed after just 2 minutes of saying that it was live, and we had already made, I think it was like $25,000. And I was just like, holy crap. Like, this community is just I don't want to say the word rabid because that sounds like it's negative,
Yeah.
but it's so good in this sense where they're just like they want to help and they want to support us and show love for us, and it's like I don't think we'll ever take that for granted.
No, absolutely not. Especially not after, I mean, if not before so, then definitely after this. I mean, and it is just so humbling to realize that not only are people willing to pay for the opportunity to visit this, pay good money to visit a set three times when there are people getting just paid to work on. I mean, it really kind of makes you take a step back and really appreciate exactly what you get to do.
Yeah.
And that kind of puts it all into perspective for you and makes you that much more approachable of a person at RTX. It makes you that much more likable as a personality because you're a normal human being who realizes that there are people who have to support you in order to do things.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that's always kept Rooster Teeth, you know, growing and flourishing the way it has with the community and the people who follow it, is that it's very different than a lot of other companies and a lot of other people who do YouTube videos or something similar, is that we are constantly keeping that connection open with our community and our fans. We're keeping conversation open, we're taking feedback, we're talking to them, we're meeting them, and we're always grateful of what they do for us because we wouldn't be here without them. We try to make them know that every day, and I think a lot of companies take their fans and their community for granted, and we definitely don't.
Well, I think that just shows to go you're the best community manager they've ever had.
Oh, I'm the only one.
I mean, you know, semantics again. So getting back to RTX, you've been working hard on getting it ready, and it's coming up very shortly. And I'm super duper excited. They've already let out a couple of things that are going to be coming. Would you like to talk about those?
Sure. I mean, we just released the panel schedule for RTX, which is officially 3 weeks away from yesterday. So, trying not to throw up every time I think about it.
I know. No, the worst part is, though, that's not even the start date. Like, that's the start date for the convention.
Yeah.
Work starts way before that.
Well, you know that too, because you're a Guardian and you've been there for it before. Yeah, we move-in for the convention actually starts the Tuesday before.
Yeah.
And so we'll be there.
Yeah, we'll be there, and we'll be there with bells on, because honestly, that's why you do it. For all that community interaction we were just talking about, as wonderful as it is over the internet, face to face, it's almost overwhelming.
It is.
And so to get the chance to do that, I had my first surreal moment last year at RTX. I walked out in front of, right before the Achievement Hunter panel. I had just marched Jack upstairs. I walked out to the front of the stage, and all of a sudden the crowd just starts cheering, and I kind of look behind me to see whether, you know, somebody just came out or something. And then I realized that it's just me. And they were chanting, you know, Guardian, Guardian. And I was like, what the hell is this? Other Guardians, come up here and help me take this because I can't.
That's really cool. I didn't know that happened.
Yeah. And it was just so crazy. And like, there was, I had serious internal struggle. Half of me wanted, you know, the performing half of me wanted me just to take it, you know, and get up on stage and do something awesome. But then I thought I'd get in trouble. So the humble side of me came over and said, no, we're just going to shy away slowly. Thank you so much. Y'all are awesome. I'm going to go back here now. Thank you. I love it so much, though. And so I cannot wait for not only to do it again, but to do it again in triple.
In triple. So many people. Yeah, I think one of the most surreal moments for me last year was also at RTX when we did the RWBY panel and they called each of the girls on stage, and just like coming in on stage and having 4,000 people cheer for you. It's like, what?
What? I mean, yeah. How
sitting in that audience watching with you guys.
I swear I didn't make a deal with the devil. How did this happen?
I know.
I mean,
crazy.
You gotta love it, though. You really do.
This is definitely one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. I mean, it's the most work I've ever had to do, and it's probably the most stress I've had, but it's so rewarding to see tens of thousands of people come to Austin and just be so happy and excited because of something that you did.
Yeah.
Something that you created for these people. And it's like, damn, I'm
Yeah.
lucky. I'm
No,
lucky.
I mean, that's kind of the only thing you can say at that point is just, I mean, damn.
Yeah.
The word at that point, the word awesome loses its the meaning it has now and goes back to the old meaning of truly inspiring awe.
Yeah.
So, but Rooster Teeth stuff aren't the first videos that you were to make. You were actually working with WatchMojo.com for quite a long time, working on a whole bunch of stuff while you were up in Canada.
Yeah.
You had the interview with the musician Caribou, I believe, and then a video about absinthe and mushroom soup and kind of eating hearty and healthy during the winter time. Yep. And how did you get involved with that?
So my boyfriend at the time back in Montreal, his cousin worked for WatchMojo.com. And it was at a point where they were still kind of growing and expanding what they did. And they were looking for more video hosts. And in my mind, I was like, okay, well, you know, I've always been pretty comfortable in front of the camera. And it's hard for me to work in Montreal, which is where they are located, because I don't speak fluently in French. So I can.
Yeah. That would be getting into the French part.
Yeah. And so I was thinking like, okay, this is a cool opportunity because I don't need to speak French. I get to be in front of cameras and do something really exciting and be in videos and stuff. So I went into their studio after getting a hookup from my boyfriend's cousin, and they liked me and they said, cool, we'll let you do a couple videos and see how it goes. And yeah.
So let's go even further back than that. When did you discover that you were comfortable in front of a camera? I mean, that's a big leap for a person to take, is that all of a sudden I feel okay with putting, well, myself. I mean, let's face it, usually it's like yourself plus 15% out there for the world to see.
Well, I actually, when I was a bit younger, I wanted to get into modeling. So I would, you know, take a bunch of pictures with my friends just like to test it out and see how I liked it. And then
did you give your own blue steel look?
I did. And then when I was 17, actually, I was contacted by a model placement agency. That's an agency that finds models, develops them, and then puts them with agencies. Yeah. And
headhunters, basically.
Yeah, headhunter. This woman contacted me and said that she had seen like a couple pictures online because I'd put them on this like modeling site.
Yeah, as you do, just getting them out there.
Just getting it out there. And she said that, you know, she saw me and she wanted to bring me to Toronto to do a couple test shoots and, you know, see if she could develop me.
Wow.
And so I did that and I got a bunch of test shots done. I developed a portfolio and I loved it. I felt like it was a pretty good fit for me. But, you know, I was never really a stick figure. So by the end of it, they said, we think you're great. You know, you're very photogenic. You do a great job, but we want you to lose about 15 to 20 pounds.
Did you ask them where you expected to come from? I mean, did they want you to chop off an arm?
The strange thing is that like I was even thinner than I am now.
Yeah.
I was 17, so I was not completely developed in all of my ladiness. And like in my mind, I was just like, okay, like they wanted me to weigh about 105 pounds.
Yeah, no, screw that noise.
And I'm 5'9", so that's not...
Right, that's the other part. I mean, when you're a taller person, not only do you look thinner because your weight is distributed across a broader frame. I mean, I'm 170 pounds, but I look tiny.
Yeah.
But I'm 6'1".
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's there. It's just stretched a little bit. So, I mean, no, it's really difficult to A, lose weight when you're that tall and skinny, and if you have no fat content to begin with,
yeah,
there's nothing to lose except letting muscles atrophy, and that's not good.
And I was happy. I am very happy with the way I look, and I lead a healthy lifestyle. I go to the gym and I eat right most of the time. When it's not right before RTX, maybe.
Yeah, I was about to say, there are some times where production will come in the way of your healthy eating habits.
A little bit.
But that being said, I mean, it's not as though you're in a place where you can't show your face in front of a camera. I mean, it's crazy because you were able to have your cake and eat it too. Yeah. Very, very apt metaphor.
It's kind of like, once I found that out, and, you know, for a couple weeks I did try to eat less and work out more, and it's just like... It wasn't the lifestyle I wanted to live. I wasn't really happy doing it. And I said, you know what? If this type of modeling is what they want for me to look like, then it's not for me.
Do you
No, not really. I know how to cook, and I know like certain things that I know how to cook I make well.
Mm.
But
Like what?
I make a very good breakfast. So any type of breakfast you want, whether it's eggs or different types of meats or sandwiches and stuff like that, very good at breakfast. I also make good chicken and good fish.
Ever since moving to Austin, I've been really taking to cooking my own foods lately because, I mean, the HEB is just so ruddy cheap right down the road.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of can't. And not only that, but that lets you eat healthy.
It does.
I mean, I'm able to make enchiladas, and I know exactly what it went into them. I know that it's healthy.
I living in Texas.
Exactly. And, you know, they taste a lot better than they do in the restaurant. They're a hell of a lot cheaper.
And healthier.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I've been trying to take more time to cook, but it's
hard.
Very difficult to find time nowadays.
Mm-hmm. I imagine so, especially during these couple of months.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just terrible.
Anyways, that whole experience made me more comfortable being in front of a camera and kind of made me break out of my shell a little bit more.
Right.
And I think that after that, it was like, okay, well, maybe modeling is not for me, but maybe acting or just doing, you know.
So when did your best friend Jakie come in the picture?
Jakie. Well, I don't really know how Jakie came into the picture. I think I just started doing this voice because I used to have a retainer back in the day.
Oh, really? That was your real retainer?
It kind of made me sound like this. Real bit slurred.
Uh-huh.
And I did that voice actually a while ago. And I don't know the exact... I think I was on a podcast, and Griffin Ramsey actually heard me do that voice. And she said, you should make videos with that voice, like, as an alter ego.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, that would actually be really funny. And so I, you know, a bored college student, during the weekends, I would just make these really silly videos with this character I named Jakie, who people just loved. And
yeah, I mean, it's really funny to see the things that take off, and it's never the thing you expect. Never. Never, never, never. It's always something really dumb that you don't really care about and just seems like fun and frivolous and blah.
Yeah.
But somehow, that bit of inspiration, that bit of flash in the pan is just enough to make people be like, no, this is awesome. You know, they go freaking nuts over it.
Yeah. And it's funny because I made this whole account for her on the Rooster Teeth site and made this joke that she was friends of me. And there was actually a few people who were just like, has anybody ever told you you look a lot like Barbara? It's just like, dude, seriously? Come on.
Listen, it takes all kinds to make the world go round, even those slow ones around the middle of the circle.
Yeah. And so I guess, you know, there's a couple people from Rooster Teeth who saw those videos, including Miles. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I do that voice every now and then around the office just to be funny.
Of course.
And he wrote a character for Red vs. Blue named Katie Jensen. Sorry, not Katie Jensen. Wait, yes. Katie Jensen. That's her name. I forgot. And
listen, all you need to know is Jensen.
Jensen.
I think that's the name that gets said the most. I don't think they ever say her first name in the show.
She introduces herself, I think, in episode 3.
Okay.
She chokes on her own spit. But yeah, he had me audition with that voice because it's what we had in mind, and he kept having to tell me like, all right, let's tone down the slurring just a little bit.
Right. Yeah. Because I mean, at worst, you know, you can't have a voice that isn't able to be understood.
Yeah.
I mean, you're doing a character voice, yes, but because it is a voice and because no one can actually see your mouth moving, especially not with those helmets on, you have to be able to at least be understood.
You have to enunciate to some extent, and I'm really excited. I really hope we haven't recorded the whole season just yet, but I'm really hoping that he gives Jensen a line where she goes, Simmons, because I really just want to say Simmons in that voice. Yeah,
no, that's extremely creepy. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I just had that in my ear, and now you have too. Good luck sleeping tonight. No, I love that stuff, though. I mean, it's those little things where you get to bring parts of yourself to a production. I mean, let's go back and tell 16-year-old Barbara that a dumb voice she made in her bedroom as a child is going to appear in her favorite show later on.
Being in Red vs. Blue, like, again, I've watched it for over 10 years at this point, and it's like, I can't wrap my head around the fact that I'm doing a voice for that show.
Yeah. And you've already done it.
I know.
And it still does. I mean, I don't know that that feeling ever goes away. And if it does go away, then I have stopped feeling things, and I want to go now.
Yeah. No,
you know,
I don't think I'll ever get over the fact that I get to do that, or that I have fans, or that I'm with Rooster Teeth. I will never. Yeah. I can never see myself getting over that.
But that's a very healthy attitude to have, honestly, because again, that keeps you humble. It keeps you a person. It keeps you not above everything. You know, I mean. Well, I mean, you do kind of tower above things, 5'9", but you know exactly what I mean.
Yeah, I am pretty tall.
So, speaking of very tall things, you are doing something interesting tomorrow, where you're going over the edge of a very tall building.
Yeah.
How did you get involved in that, first of all?
So there's this thing called Over the Edge, which is a thing with Make-A-Wish, which, for those of you who don't know, it's an amazing charity where they provide these big wishes for kids who are ill, sometimes, you know, not in a good place. And Rooster Teeth has had actually 5 visits for Make-A-Wish of kids who decided that they wanted to go to Rooster Teeth as their big wish.
That's amazing.
And, I mean, it's just been an absolute honor to have them there and to get to do that for them.
Yeah.
So this thing called Over the Edge is a fundraising thing for Make-A-Wish, where if you raise $1,500 or more, you get a chance to rappel down the tallest building in Austin, which is the W Hotel. And so SideQuest wanted to do this because one of the charities they work with is Make-A-Wish. And they thought, you know, we want someone to represent us and do this. And they thought, Barbara's a good choice. She's
who better than literally the face of the community?
Face of the community, co-director of RTX, which SideQuest does a lot of stuff with.
Exactly.
And they approached me a couple months ago about doing it. And I said, yeah, you know, I might crap my pants a little bit.
But you'll suck it up for the children.
Exactly. It's for the kids. So tomorrow is actually when I go. It's from 3 to 4 o'clock. I'm going to rappel down 38 stories.
Please tell me it's being recorded. Please tell me it's being recorded.
I hope it is. That's up to SideQuest. I think they're organizing the whole thing.
Righto.
We're making a big day of it. And it happens to be RT Community Day. So it kind of lines up pretty well.
Nice. Nice.
Hopefully I don't fall.
Well, I'm one of those sympathetic paying people.
You can still air this interview if I do. Don't worry.
Thank you. It'll be a nice little post-mortem here. Is there anything you would like to say as your last will and testament quickly, just in case? So, let's see here. That goes through everything on my card, so we're just going to go off it from here. Tell us a little bit about you outside of the company, because as much of a company person as you are, that's not all of who you are. What do you do when you go home?
What do I do when I go home? It's funny because ever since I moved to Austin, my life has really been Rooster Teeth. And I don't know if that's kind of sad or what, but it is my life. I mean, all my friends I have in Austin are from the company or, you know, somehow related to the company. Everything I do outside of work is with the community or just, I don't know. I don't spend a lot of time with my own hobbies.
Right.
I don't know if I'm still just getting used to living here and being on my own here. I guess my free time, do a lot of pool stuff because I'm
a lot
from
of good
Canada.
swimmies.
So we didn't get much use out of pools back home. So ever since I moved here, I've been basking in the Austin heat.
Fair enough.
So wonderful.
There was that new water park that was put up right across the street from your office recently. I drove by.
Full of children all the time.
I was about to say, I drove by it on opening day, and people were packed in there like sardines.
Yeah.
I mean, shoulder to shoulder. And I can't. Not only is there going to be a whole bunch of germs in the water, and there's pee, and no, I'm good.
And it sucks because we saw that pool being built and getting ready to open, and we thought,
it's literally right across the street. I mean, it's very convenient.
We saw it being built, and we were thinking like, oh, this can't be that busy during the day. You know, kids are at school or at summer camp or whatever. You know, we'll be able to go here like during lunchtime at work for sure. It'll be dead.
Yeah.
But ever since it's opened, there's been just children upon children upon children, just like shoulder to shoulder, just cesspool of grossness
Yeah.
packed to this like tiny pool. And it's like, damn it, because I really wanted to go use it, and now I
Exactly.
can't.
Because it's not like I'm a germaphobe or anything, because I'm not. I just don't like being in that close proximity to that many people who don't care about the place.
Yeah.
And there's no way it can be anything but gross.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm not a germaphobe either, and kids, whatever, kids are fine, but when you just want to go relax in a pool during your lunch break at work, you don't want a bunch of screaming, splashing, crying. You just want to sit there and relax.
No, you get that at the office.
Exactly. Yeah. That's all from Gus usually.
Exactly. So speaking of the office, you've kind of transitioned over to the new one now. Are things finally getting settled in? Can you consider yourself finally moved in?
I think we're finally moved in. I know there's still a bunch of cleaning up and organizing being done, especially in the studio area. I know Gus and I have been trying to make our office look nice. It kind of looks like crap because we had to cut open one of our ceiling panels to get some air in there.
Right, yeah, because you got it. Wasn't it like blowing straight onto your ceiling or something?
Well, the ceilings that we have at the office are these like mesh kind of canvas material things that are just pulled over the top. So it doesn't let air in really, so it gets pretty hot, but it also doesn't block sound. So it's like, what
the hell is the point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
it doesn't do anything you need to do, especially with Joel and Adam next door.
Oh, God.
That look right there says it all.
It's like the second I see Adam walk into Joel's office, I'm just like, it's going to be 2 hours of screaming. I'm so happy I have headphones right now.
So, no, I mean, getting back to what you do outside of work, it's not a bad thing that your work encompasses your life, because Rooster Teeth is kind of a company that lets you do that. It's not as though all you do is focus on one thing. Rooster Teeth does so many things.
So many things, yeah.
I was talking to a guy the other day while I was working on a set that kind of works around town on various things, and he had worked on an RT thing a while ago, and he was like, I had no idea that these guys were so big. I mean, they have 7 million, and I'm like, I know, right? And I kind of showed him a couple of things. I showed him a Slow Mo Guys episode and yada, yada, yada. Told him Gavin made this channel basically to get a work visa because he happened to have a Phantom Flex camera.
Jerk.
Right. And so it's really neat to compare notes with somebody who actually legitimately works in production and can appreciate all of those minor details that go into it. Because Rooster Teeth Productions, having been lucky enough to work on a couple, are not exactly big movie sets. Have probably 150 people on them at any given point. Rooster Teeth sets maybe 20.
Yeah, maybe.
And yet the quality that's able to be put out from a very bare bones crew is incredible.
Yeah. And
anyone in the business who actually knows how these things work is blown away by it. Just completely floored.
Yeah, I've always been impressed with the way that Rooster Teeth produces content and turns around the stuff that they make, and just the quality and the humor and just everything is just something that you would want to watch.
Yeah, because that was another major component was, I mean, in 12 years of making videos, there hasn't been one bad egg that I can think of. Can you?
I mean, there's been some shows that didn't really hit as well as others. There's been some projects that didn't go as far as I think that they were expecting them to go, or just, you got to test the water sometime, and sometimes everything's not a hit.
But that doesn't mean they were panned. I mean, there's never been one that the community just goes, this is terrible, take it off, I hate this, why did you make... I mean, a small contingent, yes, but those are always the vocal minority. You're always going to get those. That's
one of the great things about the community, is that we have this strong fan base, and especially having the Rooster Teeth site, we have this very dedicated group of people to our content. And so whatever new show we put out or new project we start, people will be on it, and they will watch it, and they will be fully committed to, supporting us and promoting what we do. And we're so lucky to have just that core group of people who are always willing to do.
It's a wonderful safety net.
Yeah.
And it feels great knowing that there's always going to be a group of people at your back, almost no matter what you do.
Yeah.
Especially as long as you keep putting Blaine out there shirtless.
Gotta give the people what they want, Tim.
Exactly. Exactly. I was going to say something very lewd, and then I realized, no, I'm just going to leave it alone. You let your imagination run on that one. So, do you play any video games? I mean, are you a gamer yourself? I mean, I know you kind of work on them, but you don't actually do any of the video game series.
No. I wish, honestly, one of the things at Rooster Teeth that I wish I got to do was, like, stuff with Achievement Hunter and Let's Plays and stuff, because I enjoy video games, and I think that would be, like, something really fun to do, is to be in a Let's Player, even if it's, like, a small thing. Like, when the times I got to do Horse during the tournaments.
Oh, yeah.
Blast. When I did Game Time with Bernie, that was a blast. I do play video games. It's been a lot less recently, just because of what's been going on at Rooster Teeth, and it's, by the time I get home, I just want to not do anything. I just want to sleep or just watch TV and not move.
I was going to say, after staring at a screen all day, paying attention, the last thing you want to do is stare at a screen all day and pay attention.
And I know a lot of people play video games to relax, but for me, when I play a video game, I need to be, like, into it, and I need to, you know, sometimes it's a bit stressful for me, actually, because it's, you know, a lot's going on and you are in control of what happens, and I just want to be, like, not in control for just a little bit.
Exactly. I don't like those games where you can kind of go on autopilot. I just finished playing The Witcher 2, for example, which is a very in-depth RPG with a very heavy story and, you know, very adult themes, but not like boobs or anything, but war, betrayal, you know, adult themes.
Yeah.
And I don't want to play a game where I'm just flicking birds at fucking pigs.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So games aren't that kind of relaxing opportunity for me. I want to get into it. I agree.
Yeah. So, I mean, I used to play a lot more than I do now, but I really enjoyed Skyrim, Portal, and Portal 2 are some of my favorite games. Just because I like games where you could just play it and not feel like you're being rushed.
Right.
So you could actually get into the story. Like, that's why I like Skyrim so much, is because, like, there's no time limit, and there's you know, there's bosses and there's battles that you have to do, but you could still explore and you could do these side missions and whatever. I really like RPGs, actually, for that reason.
Yeah. I heard Skyrim be described in a very apt way. It's got the breadth of an ocean and the depth of a paddling pool.
Yeah.
It's not exactly very difficult to understand or master, is what that means, but it's got so much to do.
Yeah.
After you learn those core skills.
It has an endless amount of things to do. And, you know, I played through the Halo 4 campaign, and that was a challenge for me because shooters are not really my thing. I am terrible at first-person shooters. But, you know, I just said, all right, I'm just gonna stick to it. I'm gonna beat the fucking campaign. Sorry if I swear on your show.
To be fair, pajama achievements can totally make a comeback.
It could.
That's a thing.
Although, you know, I would feel bad because that's, you know, that was Griffin and Jeff's show.
Yeah.
You know, if they want to bring it back, cool, but
yeah, I'm just saying, you know, there's the sisterhood of traveling pants goes everywhere.
Yes.
Or traveling pajamas.
I'm hoping there will be some more opportunities for me to do video game related things at the company eventually.
Yeah.
But, you know,
but not right now, because
definitely not right now. On the next 3 weeks. My mentality with Rooster Teeth has always been, you know, if I'm asked to do something, if I'm presented with an opportunity, I always say yes.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm asked to be on the podcast, I say yes. If I'm asked to be in a short, I say yes. Everything, I say yes.
Like the Siri short.
Exactly. That was within the first week of coming to Rooster Teeth. They asked me to be in a short, and then Marshall, actually, when he was still working there, he's the one who wrote it. And he came up to me, and this is maybe 3 or 4 days after I started, and he said, "Would you feel comfortable doing a shower scene?" I was like, "Sure."
I mean, and just knowing what little bit I do know about Marshall, he's not exactly the most, like, confrontational person.
No.
So I can just kind of picture blushing and very, very awkward question.
Yeah. The thing, I knew Marshall, and I knew about, like, pretty much everyone at Rooster Teeth for years before I actually came to the company. So we already had established that friendship.
Right.
But I couldn't tell if he maybe felt a little uncomfortable or, like, embarrassed to ask me.
It's different to look someone in the face and go, listen, we just want to catch you from here up.
Yeah.
I swear there's not going to be anything. You know, that's very awkward, regardless of who you're talking. Especially
for ruining the illusion, internet. But I was wearing a tube top in the shower. I was not naked.
Just going ahead and putting that out there. I mean, implied nudity is a thing that often comes up. I mean, showers are a part of life, and so
that was a very awesome scene in that trailer, and it helped make it look like a horror movie trailer.
Exactly.
And you know, to be able to provide that for the product is awesome. Sure, I'm glad that me doing that scene helped it be more legitimate.
Was it an immediate yes?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I figured. I mean, I bet if you had even showed the slightest bit of hesitation, you'd be like, "We can rewrite it. We can do something else," you know, and that would have led to something being not quite as good.
Yeah.
So you never know where just being open about an idea can take you.
Right.
Sometimes all the way to the top.
Yeah.
So I think we're coming a little bit to that point in the show where I like to round out with the Inside the Actor Studio series of questionnaires. I, too, have a reappropriated version of the Proust questionnaire. It goes a little something like this. Barbara, what's your favorite word?
My favorite word is nifty.
And what's your least favorite word?
Moist.
You're not the first person who said that.
It's so gross sounding.
And I think it's because of that hard T.
Probably.
And it
comes with it.
It just feels bad in your mouth.
Like there's nothing that's good when it's moist.
You said it again, didn't you?
Yeah.
What sound or noise do you love?
Sound or noise? I love the sound of thunderstorms.
But I bet you were in love the other night because we had a massive one.
That was just cool. That was entertaining. The kind of thunderstorms I like are when it's like that low rumble.
Yeah.
And the rain. Because that's really easy to like sleep to and just like relax to.
I was going to say, that's my favorite napping weather of all.
It's the best.
Oh my gosh. What noise do you hate?
Styrofoam.
That screechy.
I hate like when people like rub styrofoam together or like squid. It's like,
it gives me that tingling in my teeth. I don't know if that's some sort of synesthesia or something, but like when I think about nails on a chalkboard or any sort of those grating sounds, it gives me like biting on wool. That kind of gritty in the teeth.
It just makes my skin like I get like goosebumps, but not the good kind of goosebumps.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. What hero or heroine do you identify with the most, except Yang?
Damn it.
I know. I'm stealing that answer away.
Hero or heroine that I identify with the most? I don't know. Let's say Superman.
We can dig it. What villain
for the good
or
of
villainous?
the people. What was that one?
What villain or villainous?
Well, is she a villain, Mystique? I guess she's kind of in the middle.
I mean, and yeah, we'll take that.
Depending on when you're...
Depending on whether you're going with the Bryan Singer movies or not.
Yeah. Yeah, Mystique.
What would be your superpower?
Shape-shifting.
Really? I would figure it'd be something pun-related.
Well, I was going with, like, classic superpower.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
What would be your super weakness?
Weakness.
Iced coffee?
Yeah. I don't know. I have no weaknesses. I'm perfect in every way.
So humble. Humble is your weakness. What turns you on, either creatively or spiritually? What gets your wheels going?
What gets my wheels going? These are good questions.
Thank you.
I've never been asked this stuff before. It's just like people who are just, they think differently. They don't, they think big picture rather than small details. I think a lot of people tend to focus on like minor things, whereas like, what do you want to see from this project or this thing? And
kind of discerning what's really important from what's just a frivolous detail.
Yeah, and I think that quality is very rare nowadays. A lot of people tend to focus on minor things that don't make a big difference.
Sadly, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
What turned you off?
People who are pessimistic and constantly just negative about everything. I can't deal with that because it's like life is so short, and wasting emotion and anger and jealousy or hate, whatever, on these things that, again, don't make any difference in your life. And these people who will just dwell on it and dwell on it, where it's like, it's not going to change things. Just be
Yeah.
happy, you know?
I hate hearing like when you propose an idea to somebody and somebody just straight out says no.
Yeah.
It's like, or you could give me like a reason why, or a constructive way of making it work, or there's something better that you can give me than just flat out brick wall no.
Yeah. There's too much negativity in the world.
Right.
Yeah.
What other talent, other than the ones you've obviously been gifted with, would you like to have?
I really wish I could sing.
Mhm.
That's always been something that I wish I could do, and I wish I had the ability to do, or anything musical, really.
Yeah, that's something that I've noticed. People who are very artistic or creative or work in a visual medium want to do something audio, and people who work in an audio medium are musicians or things of that nature often want to cross back over into the visual.
Yeah.
It's very weird how the grass is always greener.
Yep.
What advice would you give to 13-year-old Barbara?
I would say it's okay that you're already 5'9" at age 13. It's okay. Because once you're older, it'll be fine and you'll look like a normal human being.
That was a poorly timed sip.
No, I have to say, like, I think when I was going into high school, like many kids, they didn't realize that what happens in high school and what people think of you, being popular, whatever that stuff is about, it doesn't matter.
Not even in the slightest.
Like once you're out of there, even when you're in there, it doesn't matter. It's not going to make any difference in your life long term. And I think that if I could tell myself that.
I think that's a very important thing that's missing from a lot of kids' kind of instruction nowadays, is that it's okay to be your freaking self.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's the best way to be.
And it's like, people say that all the time of like, oh, it doesn't matter. Not like these people who tease you in high school, they're just going to like be failures in life, and you're going to grow and be awesome. But people don't understand it. People still will, get emotionally scarred from high school or other schooling. And it's like, I want to just hold your hand and tell you it's going to be okay. I swear.
I was the nerdiest kid who sat in the back of the class, listened to everyone talk, didn't say anything, wore high water chinos and a polo shirt tucked in with a belt. I was that kid.
Swag.
Right, right. Ladies, hold your pants. And so after all of that, I went to military school, which, I mean, you can't have any sort of pretenses when you go into something like that. It gets hammered out of you. And then I went to a normal college, and I realized people are freaking dumb.
Yeah.
People are dumb, and they expect things from you they expect you to be something that you're not. And honestly, if you can just figure out a way to be yourself and still get the job done, not only do people like you more because you seem approachable and you don't seem like an automaton who just does work, or a lazy slacker, here's just who I am, don't mess with me. I'm not gonna. You have to be able to curve yourself a little bit. You can't see the curve that I'm doing here on my desk, but I'm curving to make sure that you're able to stay true to yourself and yet not step on a whole lot of toes by doing so.
Yeah, and I think a lot of things people have to remember is the people who will pick on you or make fun of you and dwell on what you're doing with your life. You have to feel bad for those people, because it's like their life is so unfulfilling and boring that they have to take the time to pick on you.
Yeah.
And to focus on you. And it's like, you should just feel bad for those bullies, because it's like, wow, that's really all you got? Is seriously? Like,
I have friends, Facebook friends that I went to high school with that, you check in on every so often, or you just happen to scroll past their settings or whatnot, that are still in that hometown.
Yeah.
And I'm 15 hours away working with a production company that I adore. And I've worked on multi-million-dollar movies. I mean, I've done stuff.
Yeah.
Real stuff.
And you had your own show.
Right? and I have friends back in my college town that still live there, that still do the same productions, that still do all this stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I always I knew I wanted more.
Yeah.
I am not satisfied with that. And so I didn't let anyone get in my way, but I didn't bowl anyone out of the way either.
Right.
You know, you kind of have to curve.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to look out for yourself, because ultimately that's the only person that matters. Mm-hmm. And so you got to do what's right for you and make yourself happy, but regardless of what it does to, you know, other people.
Yeah. So what is something that only you do?
That only I do?
Yeah.
Laugh at my jokes.
Oh, come on. That's not even fair. That's not even fair. You set me up for that one.
I'm the only one who laughs at my jokes. That's true.
Well, maybe the puns every so often. You get more groans than you probably think you should.
I just think I have a very unique position at Rooster Teeth because, you know, being the community manager, I do a lot of work with both sides. Mm-hmm. You know, I think I probably spend more time reading than anybody else at the company, reading comments and posts that people make and the forum. And
God, please don't tell me you scroll through the YouTube comments.
Every now and then I will.
I'm so sorry for that RT Vine video.
Oh. Hey, it was funny. We looked at the insights for that video, and it was like the spike just hit.
Spike at 255 is enormous.
It's really funny. That's fine. That's another one of those situations where it's like, I'm not showing anything.
Exactly.
It's funny. It made the Vine funny. It made this video.
Ooh, you're a female. Who knew?
It's like I would look the exact same in a bikini. Okay.
Exactly.
Like, whatever.
Probably more revealed, honestly. Yeah. I mean, that was a very modest outfit you had on.
And I chose that on purpose.
Of course.
Very
of course.
Yes.
So what is your favorite curse word?
Favorite curse word?
Besides all of them.
Fuck nugget.
I can dig it. I can dig it. Where would you one day like to live?
I think it'd be really cool to live in like a tropical place. Maybe not permanently, but if I spent like a while somewhere, maybe Barbados.
Have a winter home there.
Yeah, something like that. I've always been a huge fan of the beach and the warmth.
That's odd. I mean, not really odd, but I mean, you came from Canada. It makes sense that you would want to fly south for the winter.
Yes. My family and I used to go to Florida every winter, actually. Because my grandparents had a condo there, and we would just spend 2 or 3 weeks, more like 2 weeks, just in Florida at the beach, at the pool. And it's funny because every time it's like around Christmas time now and I hear Christmas music, I would think about Florida.
Yeah.
Because that's what we would be doing during Christmas time. So
it's crazy what can take you back as far as memories go.
Yeah.
Just the slightest smell or a couple of notes from a song or...
Exactly. I've always been just a huge fan of warm weather.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah.
If you had a choice, and this is our last question here, brace yourself. If you had a choice, how long would it take you to respawn after you died?
If I had a choice. I would think right away.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wouldn't want to take a rest for a minute, check on a few things?
Ooh, could I see other people and things going on?
In this hypothetical situation, you can do whatever you want.
Okay, so maybe like a week.
Yeah.
Just I would want to see how life would go on without me.
Everybody wants to see their own funeral.
I don't know if I would want to see that. I like just the thought of people being sad because that makes me sad. But I don't know. Yeah. I would want to see just what happened. What happened.
Fair enough.
After. Yeah.
See if the world actually does keep spinning without Barbara Dunkelman.
I know.
I don't think it should, but it may. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of our program. I want to thank my guest, Barbara, for coming on today. You were absolutely amazing for agreeing to do this.
Oh, well, thank you for allowing me to be on this. I actually was really excited to get a chance to be on your show.
Sweet. Is there anything in particular you'd like to plug before we go?
As always, roosterteeth.com. Watch our stuff, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and donate to our Indiegogo that goes on until July 6th.
Incidentally, very coinciding with RTX.
Exactly.
You slide devils, you.
Do a nice big announcement of our final number at RTX.
Excellent.
So that'll be fun. And then just continue being awesome and being the community we love so very, very much.
Oh, we didn't talk about anything about the Internet Box. Real quick, there is the reunion panel coming up at RTX, yes?
Yes. So the Internet Box podcast is a podcast that myself and a couple other people at Rooster Teeth and people in the community have done for a couple years. Mm-hmm. And we actually recently ended it just because it was a big time commitment and a lot of people were never really available to do it. And it just turned into kind of a chore for us to do. Even though we enjoyed doing it still, it was hard to get together and actually record it and put it out every week.
Well, I mean, coordinating with people who aren't right there next to you. I mean, it's one thing for you to get you, Michael, and Ray on an episode because, quite frankly, you can just go to each other's houses.
Yeah.
But coordinating with people not only in different time zones, but in different countries.
It's difficult, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely so.
And especially when most of us work at Rooster Teeth and that job is so demanding that, you know, during the weekend we just want to relax. We don't want to have to be on for 2 hours. Yeah.
Yeah. So there'll be that reunion panel to look forward to. Everything's going to be live streamed again this year, yeah?
It should be. You know, no guarantees because of technical issues and details we have to sort out. But all the panels should be live streamed. The Internet Box panel, I believe, is 2 o'clock on Sunday at the same time as the Rooster Teeth podcast panel.
Of course it is.
Of course. But, you know, there's going to be tens of thousands of people there, and the room would only fit so many people, so everyone should get to go if they want to.
Yeah, absolutely so. And you can find her at B Dunkelman now, not at Blondie.
Yes,
you recently changed her.
It's at B Dunkelman, BDUNKELMAN.
And that's been underneath her the whole time. You'll be able to find links to everything we talked about down below, and the audio version of this and all of the episodes that I've done will be available on SoundCloud.com/TimLeftwich. You've been watching this on YouTube.com/TimLeftwich. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and as always, we'll see you next time.